Hi everyone, this is GOL from Productions², and I'm just doing some recording for our 7th developers vlog for Space Crusade. So I've been doing a lot of work this, minimize this update cycle. I've gotten a lot more done than I had on even the previous one. So it's kind of good to go over some of that. Let's see, get my document open here. Okay, we don't need that. Alright, so, got a lot of stuff here. As you can see, it's, I think, 6 pages of changes. 7, actually, now. Going on 7. But there's been a lot of stuff worked on. Namely, trying to get things working with changes I've been making. The biggest change has been to battle processing now. What we did is I went through and I was thinking about how this thing was going to work, and decided the previous way that things were set up wasn't really going to work very well. And it could have worked in a certain sense, but there's also the problem of the fact that I wanted to have the player be able to outfit the wingmen, your allied ships, at some point in time, and that wouldn't be possible with the system I had before. So the idea was to try and figure out a way to make wingmen into their own sort of entity, if you will, and have them be somehow related to the player hostile entity class, as it were. So I came up with the idea of actually doing that. So I ripped out all the player team H team references and all that stuff out of here, and instead we added a new class to entity called a new child class called wingmen, and that's being used as a vector called eWingmen in the entity class, which is then inherited by all the other classes. And interestingly enough, and quite humorously, it actually causes kind of a paradox, if you will, because the wingmen class has its own wingmen vector. So, for example, we could do this: endPlayer. And in case you're wondering what's up with my Visual Studio, I'm using 2012 Microsoft Visual Studio 2012 instead of 2010 now. And in 2012 they have different colored backgrounds, or maybe it was in 2010 as well, but I only found out about them in this version of it. So eWingman, and we go at I guess. Then we can say after that eWingman dot at I dot e, and you can just go on, forever with it. So in a sense, you could have just an infinite number of wingmen objects, which is interesting and could possibly present a memory issue if I'm not careful with how that works. But at the same time, it's just a little kind of a strange happenstance, I guess you could say. But yeah, I had to recode pretty much everything in here. Actually, that is not an understatement. Actually, I've had to recode a lot of things. I had to recode this. Since we're using the wingmen now, we have to go through and check. Since we're doing it with the system now, we have to do a kind of a two-tiered checking system, which is exemplified here, where when you're on 0, you check the main hostile or main player, but on non-zero values, you check everything else, all the wingmen. And that's had to have been repeated throughout the whole entire thing here, class. So it has added quite a bit of code, but at the same time, there's no way that I can figure out as of yet how to keep that from being having that being necessary. It's just the way that things happen necessitates having to have that kind of a distinction in most cases. So I've changed pretty much everything here. I did some fixing on the init sections because the value ranges were either not correct or were not segmented enough to actually be done between the ranks that we have here, which is 1 through 4 so far. So we had to figure out a way to stretch these weapon unlocks throughout the first throughout these 3 ranks here, because nothing else gets unlocked except for weapons. And so I had to really kind of try and figure out how to do that properly. Like here, won't matter that much because you get new ships, and so we don't have to have any new weapons. There just has to be something unlocked with each rank, and due to the way that these 4 were set up, just necessitated having to go through and really pull back some of the ranges here. In fact, I think the bomb range stays the same until the 4th. Until the 4th rank. And again, we had to have 2 different execution sections, one for the main hostile and one for the hostile wingmen. I've just started actually working on the other areas that need to be fixed now because of this, like over here in message proc. I went ahead and fixed MR message so that works with the new system now that the message data is coming from the database. I also fixed up some of the other message areas, like here for the player status and the hostile status. Changed it from taking a vector to the player entity or hostile entity, and then also doing the whole segmentation of the various main player hostile from their wingmen. Well, this is interesting. I thought I fixed that. Actually, I started to and then stopped. That's what it was. So I actually moved all of these variables to their own over into the class instead of being defined here. So they're defined in the class now. But I didn't take off all the types here. Do that real quick. Oops. Alright. So, what we need to work on now is, well, let's see. I know we have to work on the AI a bit. That still has to be done. But I'm trying to figure out, I want to save that for later. So what needs to be worked on? Essentially what I'm trying to figure out right now. How about the move? Let's do the move ship function. That'd probably be the next place we should be working on. I re-added in the grid coordinate system from 0.4. This month as well. It's in the map class now. But and add in the quadratic quadratic formula here to calculate out the distance between two objects on the three-grid system, three-coordinate system. So what we need to do now is create a way to move the ships. And I did something different this time. Instead of holding the XYZ coordinates inside of map, they're actually held inside of ship now. So the position of the ship is now tied directly to that specific ship object. And we also have the in set position as part of the whole system there. So what we need to do now is to create a function When did we ever need this, though? I'm trying to remember. Our ship. To do that might have been left over from when I was working on a different way of doing a whole damage class. So it may not be needed anymore. So void smove. So let's have a look at the old version here. I think it's going to be inside of map. Yeah. Alright, so here's how this worked before. Let's change this. Well, we'll copy this over, but we're also going to change it a bit, or actually a lot, but we're going to change how this is actually set up for the moment. Wow, my indentation of this code really sucks. So notice how bad that was. Alright, so bring it over here. Okay. So smove. First things first. Let's see. Selection 1, selection 2. Affirmative. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say that's not going to be that. Alright, so I want to create a new int. Let's actually make 2 new ints. Let's actually move. Well, let's move all of these over into ship. So SM affirm, actually bool is choice affirmative. Alright. We also need to create another int. Ship. Movement initiative. Allowable movement in it. So essentially, this is, let's see, stores. I actually like some of the changes they made in this version. Like, for instance, if you like if I go SAM init equals 0, you can hover over the SAM init. Okay, where's that wrong at? Oh, lowercase. Should be uppercase. For example, you see whatever if there's a comment for that variable, you see it in the pop-up here. That didn't happen, and they didn't do that in 10. But in 12 they do, and it's a really awesome feature because now if I have a question about something like, I don't know what C damage does. Store turn-based damage. Or if I don't know what remove, well, there's no comment for that, I guess. Well, there's there, I suppose. Or for example, L-banks. What is L-banks? And so you can just see what these things mean, what they're for, without having to switch back and forth between the header and the implementation file and looking up whatever it is you need to find. So equals get m init. Alright. B is C affirm equals false. And alright, so what we need to do now is to do a few things here. First of all, need to replace selection 1 with MS selection Alright, and with B is probably typoed it, didn't I? I did, crap. Alright. So now, player position X with S. Crap, what is it? S pos X. Yeah, okay. Y with Y. And Z with Z. Alright. So we got most of this stuff changed. While so I'm trying to figure this out. So do I want to... Oh crap, I forgot about player move distance. Let's fix that as well. It's going to be SAM ship available movement initiative. So player move distance. Alright. So let's see. We need to put this inside of a loop itself so that the player can do as they will as far as if they want to use all of the movement initiative for the turn or not. We shouldn't just have them be able to do one move in one direction per turn. That'd be really aggravating. Oh, God. Oh, well, we'll be making that stuff into, let's see, it's, go over here, developer, SQL manager. Alright, message data, execute, insert into MSG data ID message values, or just message, because the ID should be auto incremented. So actually I think it's single hash or hack marks, whatever these are called, commas, parentheses, whatever, apostrophes even. Apostrophes, parentheses, quotations, oh my. Let's see, that should work. Aha, yes, good. Alright, so I can add in the other ones here. So affirmative and negative, sir. And here you can see just how easy it is to add things. Using SQL. Component failure. That's interesting. I see. Not quite like SQL. MySQL anyway. MySQL you actually... Well, maybe not. I'm not sure. I thought it was with a column, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. That was my mistake there. Alright, so 36 or 38, so... Need to create, actually we already have it, okay, good. Never mind. So what we need to do now is, first we need to do the tabulation here. Actually, should have been 2, shouldn't it? Damn. Alright, there we go. So what has to happen now is this gets changed to np.mr message 35, I believe. That's 25. $36. Whoa. Let me get down there. Was it